Hello y'all, welcome to what is part 1 of my Big Grass playthrough series in the Hearts of Iron 4 mod, Old World Blues. What is Old World Blues? It is a Hoi 4 mod that brings the Fallout universe to the game, and it's recently, as of recording, got a massive update that added Big Grass and many other countries to the mod. To get to Big Grass, we gotta get through the region select screen for the countries in Old World Blues, and we're going to be playing in the Great North. And this was added very recently as of recording. Like I just said, it had a massive update and it had a map expansion. But anyway, the lore for the Great North goes like this. This is the description here. The Great North is a land on the precipice of destiny itself, an untapped catalyst of empires waiting to rise. From the fragmented nobility of the Kingdom of Manitoba to the madness of the Canadian People's Front, or even the eerie winds of change that threaten to blow out from Calgary, there is a palpable tension that can be felt by all who call the Great North home. As if things weren't already getting ready to heat up, to the south, more groups have appeared with unsavory ambitions. The Khan's odyssey to Wyoming, and a newly established, christened Montana expedition of the Brotherhood of Steel has appeared. Besides that, there is the mysterious Enclave, who's possibly around, and they are situated within MacArthur Air Force Base. On top of everything else, there is a self-proclaimed King of Roaches. Wow. All these groups threaten to destroy the calm that was once dominating the region. So, things are getting pretty rocky in the Great North, which has like the states, what would be the states of, let me think here, the U.S. states of Montana, Wyoming, and parts of Canada. That's what the place we're going to play in would correspond to in real life in terms of borders and whatnot. And let's go to Big Grass down here. It is led by Realcom, and the ruling ideology is Ruler. The brief history for Big Grass, who is at the very top of the map, the game map, or the mod map, the world map, goes like this. The bitter north is a host to a terrible, frightening thing. The Scarlet Casket, a massive underground robo-brain facility. I'll tell you what robo-brains are in a little bit. But the Scarlet Casket is a massive underground robo-brain facility presided by the mad machine Realcom. Enamored with the ideas of communism, he has a very simple interpretation that can mean no good for the people of the world. The best way to have compliance and contentment among the working class is to turn them all into machines, just as he was. I mean, he is a robo-brain. And so, thus far, he has failed in every attempt to grow, but this shall be the last time. He swears it. And so, essentially, we have a communist cyborg going on. Well, they're going around trying to make everyone in the world into robo-brains. And we're going to hit select country, and that's how we're going to start the game. Here we are. This is Big Grass, all the way at the top of the world map, like I told you. And let me go ahead and tell you what a robo-brain is, just so we're clear on that. Robo-brains in Fallout are essentially advanced cyborgs that have brains instead of circuitry as their processing unit. Because you see, why have a processing unit made of metal when you can have the human brain? It's practically a bio-processing unit. The issue is, due to the fact they've just been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, the robo-brains, because they're usually pretty old, like Realcom, I think, for example, Realcom, well, the leader of the Big Grass, for example, and most robo-brains in Fallout as a whole, in the Fallout universe, they've gone insane. So they're pretty much, most of them are mad, because they're robo-brains in a jar, well, not a jar, but a robo-brain. They're cyborgs with their brains in glass cases, and that's all there is to them. They also have the robotic components, of course, and they have treads and stuff like that. They're pretty tough enemies in many Fallout games, but the lore for them is that they are cyborgs that use the human brain as a processing unit, and they were created in the pre-war era, originally. Now we have, and just for the record also, I'm going to say this, Big Grass is something completely original to Old World Blues. The mod team that makes OWB, they have a lot of original material in this mod, and it's very impressive what they make, how to integrate it, but just so you know, this is original in terms of lore and canon and all that. So it's not going to be exactly like, say, Fallout, and it's complete. This is non-canon. This is non-canon. I'm just going to say that, so you're not going to be lost with things like the Heaven's Gate down here or the MacArthur or any place like this. Montana and Wyoming and Canada is pretty much, I'd say, untouched in Fallout lore, especially Montana and Wyoming. The only big thing Canada is known for in Fallout and its story is that they got invaded by the USA before the bombs fell. But anyway, we have a description for Realcom, who is a ruler. They control everything in the country. It's like absolute leadership. They control it all, everything in Big Grass. But anyway, the lore for Realcom goes like this. Reliable Communications, that is what Realcom is short for. Reliable Communications was once a dissident imprisoned by the experiments before the war. Converted into a robo-brain to fuel their war machine, some now call him mad. So he's from the pre-war era. He's nearly 200 years old, and he's a little out there in terms of how to say his mental state. But anyway, some call him mad. To Realcom, man's natural state is to be an exploiter, consuming resources for his own benefit and oppressing others. How much better would we all be if we were just robo-brains, no longer driven by greed or lust or envy, just simply working together in harmony. A shame that not everyone agrees with his view, but that's what the processing facility is for. So he believes making everyone into robo-brains in all of the world will create a communist utopia, effectively, or at least a utopia where people get along. And that's, of course, his perspective on that. And many other people, many other entities probably think he's crazy. Well, they do think he's crazy, but that's just his philosophy on things. And we have some research slots available. 4, in fact. Let's research robotics. We start out with a lot of robotic tech already pre-researched for us. They make sense because they're a pretty robotics-oriented country. Let's get maybe dedicated mechanics and infantry. Let's get warrior training. Why not? Get more stuff relating to robotics, please. Land doctrine. Let's research automated warfare, human targeting firmware. Just to get that done, we already have one part of the automated warfare doctrine complete. So we're doing that now. And let's go to engineering and start combat language. Let's actually move from dedicated mechanics to industry and complete industry planning. Complete that research there. And we have, in our military, we have 4 divisions. Well, we have national spirits as well, I think. We have the Robo-Brain Production Facility, the Scarlet Casket, as it's called, I guess. And that gives us gives us a cheaper production cost for support robot platoons as well as combat robots. So as a country, Big Grass can make robot units and troops and divisions and whatnot at a cheaper cost compared to many other places in the wasteland. That is our thing. We are big into robots. And we start with 4 divisions. They're all Realcom's dedicated warband, Realcom's dedicated units in terms of template. And they have, we have divisions, 4 divisions, and they are all named the following: the Red Gaze, Unwilling Vectors, the Foggy Minds, and the Brain Dead. Okay, that's a pretty creative name, not gonna lie. And we have no army commander, so let's get a new one. Let's get Mechana V07, so that'd be our unit leader. And I don't know what to do with them. Let's just leave them where they are for now. Free civilian factories. Let's start researching. Well, let's get some civilian factories made in Grand Prairie, our capital. No divisions in basic training. We might as well make more real comms dedicated, just so we'll have them. I don't think it would really help us to have militia, so we'll just make more robots. Free military factories. Put it all on commercial protectrons. Can we make robo-brains? We can't. I don't think we can. We have Mr. Gutsy's and Protectron Mark 1s available right now. Is the robo-brain even a tech in Old World Blues? Maybe it is, and it's just too far away from us right now. And where is it? I'm not sure if it's here or not. Okay, never mind. We can do this, though. Whatever heavy quadrupeds are, we can research that. It does not seem that robo-brains are available in the robot tech tree, but whatever. And another thing about robo-brains in Fallout is that they were made for both military and civilian use, so they're pretty, there's varieties of them. But that's not really relevant too much. And the focus tree, let's start by doing reliable communications. Long ago, in the sorrow-crested hills of Canada, where a man was made into a machine, and that's what the text is for reliable communications. Pretty smart name, I will say, for this robo-brain leader of ours, reliable communications. That's just cool. And from this focus, we'll get the event, The Birth of Realcomm. Start that now, and that'll be 7 days. Decisions available, don't worry about that. We need circuitry. We have insufficient resources. We can't get any resources from anyone, so just close out that notification, that pop-up, and now let's unpause and begin the game. Well, we already begun the game, but just start going through each day by day and unpause the game, whatever. So, yeah, reliable communications will be done very soon. We'll get an event. I will read. Just got to give it time. And caps update, whatever. I already know how to use caps. I'll close out that other event in a second. But reliable communications is done. We have some lore. The birth of Realcomm. Long ago, before the war, a man was taken from roadside by men in black. This man's identity is lost to time, with the last who cared to know killed alongside his snatching. His mind was harvested and placed into an experiment, itself derivative of robo-brain technology. Though only a work-in-progress name, it was known as the Realcomm Unit, or Reliable Communications. This machine, while only slightly larger than your average robo-brain, and with only a couple more appendages than your usual, was capable of interfacing with an entire factory semi-remotely. Imperfect, but capable, Realcomm was entrusted with much of the day-to-day of the robo-brain production facility he was hosted in. Though unintended, he held much sway over what came to be in a facility, with Canadian dissidents growing bolder as their friends and family disappeared into the facility's crimson-lit doors. Realcomm knew he could prioritize securing the factory's walls from intruders or improve the factory's resource production, therefore speeding up their work. Which should he pursue? And we now have decisions we can pick here that will give us buffs. Let's go with option number 2. Every cow must be milked. And indeed, every cow must be milked. That is true. And so, whatever. And let's get this choice picked here. And that's going to give us some extra resources in Grand Prairie for going with that. And we have an event about the caps update. I already played it. Have an idea of how that works. I'm not sure if we're really a country that's going to be too worried about the bottle caps economy mechanics in this mod, but we'll see. Now in the focus tree, let's complete Little Red Books. Realcomm reads things he should not be reading. Effect, we'll get the event, The Most Peculiar Little Thing. So that's going to be done in 7 days, like the focus before it. And in Old World Blues, a lot of countries typically have these 3 starting focuses that are very short and they establish the country lore typically, and they're very useful for setting up the story for a particular nation you are playing as. And the most peculiar little thing, we have this event pop up. When left to one's own devices for too long, one can often think too much on too many things. For some it is the manner of which life is lived, rather it be their own or elsewhere. Others, however, may think on simpler things, such as dinner or what their wife does while they're at work. But Realcomm thought about society. We live in one. As he crept through the laboratories, and as he crawled along the facility's chasmous chambers, he would off-see slackers, wretched dogs who do little yet but would gain equal credit for not doing much at all. While what sickened his gigabrain even more was the executives, the uptight mongrels who ordered him yet did nothing themselves. He hated everything of it. The incessant, uncaring demands they made, the sickly way they ordered a lower egghead to prepare their coffee. He begun to look into other means of thought. Schools that he was told were forbidden to him. Digging through the possessions of one of the senior scientists, he found a little red book, itself emblazoned with iconography he knew he was not meant to see. Then he did the unthinkable. He began to read it. And we have my, what red flavor. And from this we'll get a national spirit called Hush Little Commie, Don't Say a Word, which grants factory output plus 5%. And let's continue our backstory here for Big Grass and Realcomm with the focus to first strike down. This is not the first time Realcomm has woken up, but it will be the last. And we'll get the event, 3rd time's the charm, in 7 days. that will be done quite soon. And yeah, I do like the unique GFX for Hush Little Kami Don't Say a Word. Well, it seems to be unique anyway, I will say that. And the first strike down will be done very soon, and we'll see what the next part of the story is for Realcom here. So let's get that read now. Third time's the charm. Realcom thought long and hard about the book and its contents. For a time, he wondered of its possibility. To be equal among peers, he thought, was the ultimate dream of any true individual, surely, even so as he silently studied his colleagues within the factory. He saw the bitter dejectment of the lower scientists and the hack-and-eyed cackling of the executives, and it made him think, why was it like this? For a time, it troubled him greatly. Why would people delight in such suffering? Why would they stomp upon their fellow men and women with such ferocity? The answer came like a dream, a nostalgic feeling of goosebumps settling over his brain matter. They were disillusioned by their own body. It was a simple betrayal, really. The human experiment itself had failed many times across many generations. Metal, though? Metal was eternal. It was eternal in ways that flesh could not be. It was beyond skin color. It was beyond weight. Beyond, well, anything. It was merely beyond. And what was the simplest truth that could be told? Overnight, Realcom set to his new manifesto, turning all of his peers into the same machinoform that he had become. Many struggled, but others were simply caught unaware and were unable to fight him, and to fight him in his turned machines. Before he knew it, he had an army, and thus the bomb, and then the bombs fell. So Realcom built up an army and took over the robo-brain processing facility effectively, and then the nuclear apocalypse occurred. And we're going to get the event, well, we're going to get more events here. And let's see here, what can we pick? Let's get the event on the right. That will give us more base war support, give us 5% base war support, and this decision, this choice here says, decimation begets reclusion. Reclusion begets disillusion. Not even the bomb could stop progress. Even after the nuclear bombing, all the nuclear apocalypse ravaged the Earth, Realcom survived alongside his mandated brethren, thriving within the depths of the facility. For decades he would hide, sending only the most remote of scouts out to gather additional supplies as they were needed. For years, wanderers would disappear when they came too close to the factory, like rabbits delivering themselves to wolves. Legends spoke of the many-legged machine and how he would drag your children away, never to be seen again. Realcom delighted in these terrors, but paid them no mind. Those who were not of the Union mind could not understand his motive. Eventually, when he grew bolder, he began sending out more and more and more people. He began sending out more and more people began disappearing. Soon after, however, someone had had enough, and one of the assaultrons in the facility did not return. Distraught, Realcom ordered search parties, but none were able to find anything. Instead, some disappeared. Realcom was at a loss. Anger, nay, tragedy fell over him. One assaultron was worth so much. His sorrows did not last long, though. However, for soon after, a new force had arisen within the area, the Capitalizer. What is this gross mockery? And the event chain will continue from this choice here. Well, the only choice in this event will get 50 political power and 5 base war support. And now we're going to get the event, the Capitalizer. Freedom incarnate. Her origins were unknown. Her existence was unknown. Her very purpose was unknown, at least until she destroyed several of Realcom's patrols. Only when they came face to face did it become more clear to Realcom. The Capitalizer, his most hated enemy, was the very same Assaultron he had lost, but clearly modified into some disgusting American mascot, a hellish mirror to contrast his own. For freedom, she cried. For liberty. Whomever the designer was, however, its systems were programmed. He was too enamored with rage to question it. In this rage, he lost himself, and the Capitalizer was able to decimate the factory by her lonesome, leaving Realcom buried underneath the factory rubble a second time. Decades passed, and soon like his brothers and sisters, he fell asleep. No coma keeps me down, and from this we'll get a penalty of -10 base war stability. I can't believe an army of robo-brains essentially lost to one capitalist assaultron, whatever. Okay, let's hit that now, and that's done. And so we set up the backstory of Realcom, who was a dissident, who was converted into an experimental type of robo-brain, who held control over a robo-brain processing facility, and he eventually turned all of his people he worked with into robo-brains. Then one day, a assaultron went rogue, well, it got captured, maybe it got lost, and it got reprogrammed, and now there's a capitalist version of Realcom here, essentially. Well, it's a capitalist robot versus a communist robot, I reckon. And we gotta select a national focus. I gotta do that. Do a national focus. Let's have, what is it? Opening up the casket. The Scarlet Casket, as some of the locals have come to know it, is a colossal robo-brain production facility nestled within the northern reaches of Alberta. Twice the production has stopped within its halls, once when the bombs fell, and another when the capitalizer came through. And from this focus, once it's done, we'll gain base stability and 50 political power. Okay, so let's open up the casket, and that's going to be done in a few days. Well, that's, what, 60 days? Yeah, 60 days, and that'll be ready to go. What can we do with our divisions? I probably need to move them. And we have very restricted space here, I think. Yeah, we do. We have like these cliffs, this inaccessible terrain. The Western Whiteout, it's called. Is it like a snowed out area? Yeah, it seems like a blizzard constantly up here. I mean, this is Canada, so maybe it has something to do with that. Let's send our robo-brains, well, our robots, to go watch whatever is going on in the, what is this here? What are they called? Let me see what their name is. The White Court. Go keep an eye on White Court, which is led by Wilburn Wharton. Okay, and opening up the casket is still taking its sweet time. Gotta select an army command. Let's get maybe Vulcan 3 Virgin 29, bringer of civilization they are. And from that we'll get more base, no, we'll get max planning plus 10% and justify war goal time minus 10%. And Lannius' cohort to the south declared war on the Blue Rose Society, and that's going on in the former USA. And is this place really just called Entrance? Yes, it is. There is a place just named Entrance. Okay, well, alright. Roach Sprawl declared war on the Old Believers, and Roach Sprawl is to our, where is that? Our southwest? Where are they even at? That's so far away. But, goodness gracious, this update for Old World Blues, it added, okay, let me think here. You see the pass keepers, right? You see them. This was, think of this all the way to the binary counts. All the way to College declared war on the Yakuma Nation and the Washington Brotherhood. All the way from the pass keepers to the, what is this? The Order. All these are new countries right here. Everything I'm looking at right now is new country. Well, let me zoom in. There we go. Everything here I'm looking at is new countries. Everything here, except for maybe Heaven's Gate, who's at the very bottom there in the bottom left corner. But everything else is a new country. New content in general. Not all these places have unique focus trees, but some of them do have very nice flavor to them. And we have a research slot available in the focus tree. Let's research Ohm's Law in the engineering section, and let's also get the tool procurement tech done. So we'll have that complete. We're almost done opening up the casket. Next we're going to do, I gotta decide here. We're going to get local incidents completed, and we're going to read the text for that. The Treaty of Holloman took place. The Lannius cohort beat the Blue Rose Society. Okay, is this done yet? Please get done. Get there. And can we justify on anyone? I don't know. I'm not going to bother justifying anyone. I can only hope that we get war goals from our focus tree. I do like reading through the story and the events, though. That is pretty interesting to see the story in the background of Realcom and his rival, the Capitalizer, his antics with that Assaultron. But anyway, in the focus tree, let's complete local incidents. The wicked little capitalist fleshlings lurk out there, contributing nothing but taking everything. This must be addressed, but caution must be taken, lest a Capitalizer takes notice of my resurgence. And from this focus, we'll gain plus 5% base force support and 50 political power. And local incidents will be done in 60 days, so that will take some time. And until then, we're just going to be keeping a close eye on White Court and the Strath Commune, who like Realcom. I think they have their own communist thing going on, maybe. I mean, I'm not entirely sure, but They got, yeah, they have, well, Comrade Ching thoughts, so they have something going on there, clearly. Although I don't know if their interpretation of Marxism and all that is different from Rocom's or not. I'm not entirely sure if he could get many supporters for his interpretation that wants to make everyone into robots to make a utopia. And we have a chief of the Navy we can pick, or no? Let's get a economic advisor. Let's get maybe... Let's have... No, that's not going to work. Research advisor, maybe? Let's get a military theorist. Signal VO7 for our military theorist. And due to them, we'll get a better land doctrine research speed. Now it's going to be plus 10%. And a higher army experience gain. That's going to be going up now by plus 0.15 daily. Well, that's going to be a bonus from... That's what we get from the effects of the military theorist we have as a research advisor. And the Free Folk declared war. Okay, what's going on there? The Navarro territories declared war on the Free Folk. And the Navarro territories declared war on the Fusang. Where is that at? That is in California. Another thing I will say is that in this update for Old World Blues, I believe they reworked how the NCR works. Like, I believe they did do that. They also reworked the Western Brotherhood, who lost a lot of territory. Now they're just in a little bunker in the Lost Hills. They lost control over the... What do they control? I think the Lost... Actually, never mind. But they did lose some land. The Lost Hills, the Western Brotherhood's a lot smaller now than they were in previous versions of Old World Blues, I will say. And the Navarro territories, which is a subject... Well, they're not a subject, but they are fighting the Free Folk and the Fusang. Where are they at? Okay, they're near the Shi, I believe, led by the dragon. Very interesting there. I wonder if the Free Folk will ever have a path that will let them become the White Walkers. Oh, you probably see what I did there. Terrible reference, I know. Not the best thought-out reference provides that. Troll Warren declared war on the Carcass Walkers. That's going on in the, what would be the Pacific Northwest, I think. Is it? No, it's over. I mean, it's going on over here. Here we have the Carcass Walkers, and they're fighting against the Troll Warren, which is a super mutant nation. The Roach Sprawl declared war on Kingdom of Manitoba, and that's not too far away from us, relatively speaking. Where is that at? That is... Roach Sprawl is over here. They're fighting Manitoba. They're fighting a lot of people. Is this just... They're just roaches. They're rad roaches. Lannius' cohort did something. They declared war. And local incidents is nearly complete, I think. Yeah, less than 10 days at this point. After that, we got to continue doing stuff. What is going to give us a war goal? I need something with war goals. I need war. Come on. War. I'm not seeing nothing right now. I ain't seeing nothing at this time with our current focuses we need to do. I mean, okay, maybe I'm just not looking in the right place. Can I fight them in a war? I could justify. I may just do that. Shell's Armor declared war on Carbon, and tool procurement is done. So is Ohm's Law, and so is warrior training. Now, let's get improvised tools, as well as work assignments. No, let me think here. Let's at least research construction basics, which we didn't have before. And we'll get organized agriculture. Monthly population will go up a little bit every month, a little bit more than it would normally, because we're going to get that tech research. Can we justify on you, please? Yes, we can. How big is your military, I wonder? 2 to 8 divisions, 3 to 17 divisions. That could be a challenge. Let's justify on White Court then. We'll do that. Justify on White Court, and that will be done in 210 days. We'll have a war soon enough. Just so I don't go insane reading events constantly. Local incidents is done, and a 215 declared war on the Sons of Kaga. Yeah, that's in California, I think. Where's Kaga? Where are they at? Here is MaxSec. No, that's border rate. What am I looking at? There's so many new countries. I just gotta find everything now. I was so used to the old map. But anyway, let's go back to the focus tree and complete. We can't do this yet. We have to be a war to use these. Let's complete. Productivity shall return after the break. The capitalizers' fearsome streak took out much of the casket even after their miserable attack, and even after those silly little capitalist dogs infiltrated my domain, the facility's vastness proves to be a benefit. Some yet survives. All I must do is find the switch, and from this focus we'll gain 2 arms workshops, which is Old World Blues equivalent of military factories. So Let's start that focus. That's going to be done. That will take 60 days. And speaking of things taking time, our war goal justification on White Court will be done by the end of 2275. Can we get any more divisions made? Well, at least we'll get one, a real comms dedicated made, and that is we'll deploy them. Just deploy them now. We'll have 5 divisions at this point. And let's set up an order for an offensive attack. We should be able to beat the human soldiers with, I imagine we would be able to, since their military isn't really that different from our, well, it's, I mean, different in terms of size. Lannius' cohort won a war, and productivity shall return after the break is going to be done, I think, in July or August of 2275. The 80s declared war on the Ruby Valley Refuge and the Mad Trains. What is this about? Something about caps, I think. And what is this? Whatever. An achievable goal. Let's just say that. The Mad Trains declared war on the Snowmads. Where are they even at? There's just some... Okay, this is the Snowmads, and this is the Mad Trains, and they're in a war with one another. The Mad Trains are literally led by someone named a conductor. Wow. And the Snowmads, what's their deal? Okay, whatever. But yeah, the Mad Trains have someone leading them called the conductor. And I think they're a country that doesn't have a unique focus tree at this time, but the unique flavor they have with their country as a whole, with their group, is pretty neat. But I think I'm going to go ahead and end part 1 of my big grass playthrough here. This is a very awesome update that the Old World Blues devs made for Old World Blues as a whole, as a mod. It's all very impressive, I'm not going to lie. And like I said, I'm ending part 1 here. You can check out Old World Blues in the video description. If you enjoyed the video itself, make sure to like and subscribe. Have an awesome day.